Why do you step into being the victim, being powerless, being the one who's unable to change, unable to affect his situation or her situation and their life? What's the benefit? What's the payoff? How do you win? And you might be like, well, I never win. My life just sucks. I'm like, oh, no, don't do that. There's clearly a payoff and a benefit and a reason why you think you're winning to do it. Because if you didn't think there was a payoff, you would never, ever do it. We only keep destructive cycles in our life because we think there's a payoff, because we think we're winning.
You like this, you like being daddy's arms with microphones now. You like being a worker. You're made for the camera. Both my boys are.
Hey, this video you are about to watch is a part of a series where I show you how to quit porn the right way. So do yourself a favor, binge on all of this content, all the videos that you possibly can, because who knows, maybe if the value and the trust is built together over this journey, you'll want to jump into a community that I call Fit for Family. Or maybe you think these videos suck, and that's also fair too. But nonetheless, there's only one way for us to find out. So enough of me, let's get back to serving you and let's get back to the video. All right, as we're talking about the victim mindset, taking responsibility, no longer spiritually bypassing and just blaming the devil, I recognize at this point, dude, that some of us might be getting stuck. And if you're like me, you'd be definitely getting stuck. I feel like I've just gotten stuck perpetually over and over throughout my life, and that's totally okay. That's why we're here, because I want to help you with that. So one thing that happens when we are stuck in a victim mindset is we don't know how to break out of it. They're like, okay, I get the idea, the concept, take responsibility, it's not on other people, but it's like I feel in my core like I don't know how to get out of that trap. And here's what I would say is the reason why we have a difficulty breaking out of the victim mindset or feeling sorry for ourselves is because we believe it's how we get connection and love and comfort, control, and security. I want you to imagine and even write about and journal, reflect on, share with your group your fears. Again, this is a chance for you to be seen and known in the midst of the people that love you and are in the same place as you. What you fear would happen if you let go of the victim mindset. Because there's a lot of people that you know of probably in your life that feel like they're just the worst. No matter what they do, what they say, like, oh, no one's as bad as I am. I'm just so terrible. I can't believe I did all these choices. I can't believe I ruined everything. And maybe it's fair to their point. They did. They destroyed their family. Their wife left them or their husband left them, took the kids. And it's like, yeah, you actually did do all those things. But then they shame themselves for it. That's being the victim. And you feel sorry for them. So you talk to them. You give them connection. You love on them. What happens in the mind of someone who's being the victim in that scenario is they are being a victim, and then they get your attention. They get your connection. They get your love. They get your words. They get your time. They get you to care for them. And the problem with that is that it begins to build these neural pathways in our brain that say, hey, there is a massive benefit to being the victim here. You don't actually need to take responsibility. You don't need to change your life. You don't need to take ownership over anything because someone's going to feel sorry for you. And that empathy, compassion, that pity is huge. It's huge. It hits so many core needs, right? For you to feel seen, for you to be wanted, for someone to pursue you. Dude, I remained the victim for a long time because people pursued me when I did. It was amazing. It was amazing because I felt loved, but I always felt empty after because I never truly filled my cup and I never felt better and got out of the place that I was in. So I perpetually stayed as a victim because I thought it's the way that people connect to me. Because what would happen if I was no longer the victim? I would be forgotten. That's the fear. That's the fear of why we are afraid of letting go of being the victim, is that we're going to be forgotten. We are going to be abandoned. No one is going to see us. I'm just going to blend in with everybody. I'm not going to get attention because sometimes we're used to getting negative attention. This is very true for kids, is that when we want attention as children, I have 3 kids, not that many, but I'm learning it. I've got like a baby from like 3 months to 5 years old. And I especially see it in my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old or 2.5-year-old is that when they don't get their positive attention from me or my wife, from mom or dad, they will get it in a negative way. Always. It's classic. You know, so then they'll break something, they'll start yelling, they'll start pestering a sibling, they'll do something to get a rise out of mom and dad to be like, get the attention. Maybe they'll hit your phone out of your hand while you're on it because they see that as the threat. They're like, hey, that's the thing that has your attention right now. but I want your eyes and ears. I want your attention. I want you to focus on me. So I'm going to do something big and boisterous in order to garner that, even if it's unhelpful, even if it's negative, even if it's destructive, right? Kids will do that not because they're bad, but because they want your love and they want you to see them. And so sometimes we will throw out these massive SOS signals in our soul unconsciously to be like, hey, see me, hey, help. And with being the victim, it's very similar. We can find benefit. We can find a payoff to being and remaining as the victim because it's kind of like, hey, see me. Hey, this is my SOS. Hey, this is my way of trying to get you to meet me where I'm at so that I don't actually have to really show up because I don't know how to. I feel stuck and it feels scary. Right? Because if you've been perpetually left over and over and over again, but you have a history of people showing up for you when you were lowly, and you don't ever have a history of people showing up for you when you're powerful, that's like they walked away, you tried to rise up, and then everyone left, it's like, dude, I might as well just stay down. So I want you to begin to have compassion either on other people that you know of that have chosen to remain the victim, or other people, like maybe you yourself personally struggle to break free from that. And my biggest thing that I'd want you to reflect on, again, this isn't something to fix, but something to understand, because as you understand it, it will begin to be fixed, is I want you to get connected to your own story. Every single one of us has it. We have a relationship with feeling like the victim, and I'd love for you to reflect on why that is for you. Why do you step into being the victim, being powerless, being the one who's unable to change, unable to affect his situation or her situation and their life? What's the benefit? What's the payoff? How do you win? And you might be like, well, I never win. My life just sucks. I'm like, oh, no, don't do that. There's clearly a payoff and a benefit and a reason why you think you're winning to do it. Because if you didn't think there was a payoff, you would never, ever do it. We only keep destructive cycles in our life because we think there's a payoff, because we think we're winning. And I didn't realize the reasons why I was doing it, so it kept happening over and over as a vicious cycle, and I thought it was just my fate. I thought it was just my destiny. There is a psychologist, Carl Jung, who says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will run and ruin your life, and you will call it fate. And that's the idea of what I'm saying there, is that we need to take the hidden things within us that you already have the answers. They're already within you. Holy Spirit is just kind of popping them up like popcorn in your mind right now. Things are just kind of flickering off. And he's helping you become aware and make this conscious. Because until we do that, it's going to run our life over and over and over again. And we're just going to think like, this is just our destiny. This is just the way things are. And I can't possibly change it. But when I help people get connected to the story of why they're the victim, then they can begin to see it from an outsider's view. And they're like, oh, I can see why I would do that. And you can become much more likely than to actually let go of that pattern. When you see it's just a game, when you're like, yeah, actually, who else was the victim? Like, even ask yourself that question. Was there anyone who modeled it to me? Like mom, dad? Is there someone else that I saw get away with being the victim where it benefited them? And I've then did monkey see, monkey do and reciprocated it. Because again, as the scriptures say, train a child in the way they should go, and in their later years, they won't depart from it. It's any way. You train a child in any way, and they won't depart from it. So you teach a child how to be connected and present. You believe in them and that they're capable and powerful and can walk with humility. They're going to rise up to be a healthy, whole, happy human. But you berate someone, you tear them down, you never believe in them, you lack self-confidence for them, and you don't actually ever empower them and teach them any of the skills, which is a lot of us, unfortunately, then you're going to have someone who's struggling through life, and they'll be faithful to it, because it's the way in which they were raised and trained to go. And so most of this is caught, not taught. No one ever said, hey, little Tommy, be the victim. Little Tina, be the victim. Like, it doesn't work like that. We're going to see it and we're going to catch it before it's ever taught to us. We're going to see it modeled and be like, oh, that's how I'm supposed to live. So dialogue about those things, reflect, journal on that. And I'd love for you to figure out for yourself where in your life you've been acting like a victim, because that's going to prevent you, again, from being able to step into full responsibility, taking ownership over this thing, and actually seeing real and true results. Reflect on that, talk to your group about that, create the dialogue, have that intimate, vulnerable conversation, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
What's up, everybody? My name is McKinley, and I want to come to you guys and let you all know how I came about finding Matt here in his program. So, I fasted and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. I mean, every day, with the bottom of my heart, prayed to God for deliverance, for healing, for just bring someone along my path so that it can help changed my life, And one night I'm praying, and as soon as I get done praying, it was, I get on my computer, I'm just relaxing, I'm just on YouTube, and next thing you know, an ad pops up and just grabs my attention immediately, and it's Matt. It's Matt. And and the things he said in his the things he said in the ad, it was almost word for word. It was almost word for word the conversation I had with the Lord. I mean, it's a never-ending cycle, and that stuck with me because the night before I was praying to God and I was telling him it's a never-ending cycle. Like I can't beat it on my own. I can't serve the Lord and do pornography at the same time. It just doesn't work. And I told him that. And next thing you know, here comes Matt, and I see it on YouTube, and I'm like, man, this is everything that he mentioned that I talked about with the Lord. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm going to reach out to this person and see, and I'm just going to see where it goes. I'm just going to see what happens. And I sat on it for maybe, I sat on it for maybe 2 days, and I went through the training course, and I'm like, you know what, it all makes sense to me. It's worth a shot. At this point, anything's worth a try. And so I reach out to him, or well, really, he sent an email, saying, hey, if you can't make the payments, just we can schedule a phone call. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, we'll schedule a phone call, and I speak with him. And before I spoke with him, I spoke with God, and I just prayed to God and said, hey, if this is the right decision, just make me feel easy about it. I don't want to be deceived. There's a lot of trickery in the world today. Nobody wants to be tricked, And so I just prayed to God and told him, hey, don't let me be deceived by anything. And so I spoke with Matt, and I felt pretty good about it after talking with him. That now I see that he's a Christian and a man of God, and that made me feel good about the decision. And so, and I told him straight up, honest, and I told him, hey, to be honest with you, like I can afford the money, and not all of us are in the same position as me, but I told him, hey, I can afford, the pay for the course, but the reason I wanted to schedule a phone call with you wasn't because to, talk about payments so that way I could take the course. It was really to see yourself, to hear your true self and to see what you had to say about the course and who you are. And after speaking with him, I came to terms with, taking the course myself. And then I would say that anybody who's on the fence with, deciding, hey, should I give it a shot? Just ask yourself, what do you have to lose? Because this is, it's an addiction, and then if you can keep it with you the rest of your life, or you can make a choice and say, hey, I need to better myself.
Hey, real quick, if you like that video that you just saw, or if you want to see even better videos than this in a series that I made called Annihilate Porn to help guys or girls like you quit porn, you can subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't forget any alerts, comment, like, all that jazz, and more importantly, check out the next video that's going to take you even further on the journey from where you are to where you want to be. I love you tons. I'll catch you in the next one.